who I was and who I am is a little bit different, but the core values of who I am is what I just listed.
Okay.
Well, Erin Campbell.
Don't ask me. No.
Yeah, Aaron's like, I don't want no
You,
parts of
Erin
this.
Campbell.
Aaron's like, don't put me in y'all mix.
All right, guys.
But yeah, I don't want to get all.
For you to find out.
The reason why I'm in a relationship right now is because she came to me with her purpose. I'm not doing this just to do this. I like you. I want to be with you. What are your intentions on your life? What's your plan? Okay, this is my plan.
Take some time and make sure that you know yourself and are knowing yourself before you try to date someone.
What do you mean know yourself? Like, I know my name.
You know your name, but do you know what you want? Do you know who you want? Do you know the qualities that you're looking for?
Today we're talking about, let's talk about how this topic came about. There's a faction of men who believe that women should concern themselves with being married at a certain age, and that age being a younger age. And you have a faction of women saying that, no, you should live your life for a little bit before you become a wife, before you become a mother, X, Y, and Z. If you have career plans, follow your career plans. If you have, if you want to make money, do something for your family, take them out the hood, whatever, like so on and so forth. And so this got me to thinking, like, both sides have a point, but both sides don't really express the point so that the people listening to these suggestions can make an informed decision. So the people, the faction of men who are saying, well, you need to marry early, X, Y, and Z, they're not telling you what life is like as a woman marrying early. They're not even telling men what life is like marrying early. There's a lot of growth within yourself, and then you have to incorporate a commitment of marriage with that. That's a lot. And then you also have the women who are telling, younger women saying, well, you need to go out and live your life. You need to experience life, this, that, and the other. And that's cool and all, but are you telling them both the good and the bad side of that? Are you saying to them, yo, you may get to 30-something and desire a husband, but you're no longer desired by the people, by those men who don't want 30-some-year-old women. They want younger women for whatever reason, And you also have to look at the whatever other negative implications there are. And I think once you have a full picture saying, okay, yeah, go out and do X, Y, and Z, but here's the good and the bad. Go out and marry young, but here's the good and the bad. Then you can make an informed decision. And I think a lot of times young people who are either just against marriage, because it seems like younger people are against marriage these days. So it's like, if you're against marriage, you have to really look at, like, why are you against it? Are you against it because you've been married and you know what comes with it? No. You're against it because you're parroting something that other people are saying when you don't even know the good and the bad. And it's really unfair for us to give this advice, but also not give fully informed advice so that people can make good decisions and fully informed decisions. So that's how this whole topic came about, is at what age should you start dating? Because honestly, you can start dating with a purpose at like 25, 26, date for 2-3 years, get married in your early 30s. Start dating with a purpose at 27, date for 3 years, you get married at 31, 32 or whatever, And I think that we should consider that, because I think that's like a middle ground for both sides of the spectrum that we always hear people talk about. Well, not that but that is your desired outcome. So if you meet somebody and they're not in that time and space in their lives, then you don't need to mess with them, because they don't have the goal in mind that you have. I'll give you a perfect example. And I didn't realize that I actually did this. So like, I think I've told the story before. Like, I was dating somebody when I went to law school. he eventually broke up with me.
You saw that laugh.
He broke up with me. And then at that point, I was just kind of like, that's when my now husband, when he came to me, I was like, look, I'm not really just trying to like date to date. So either you can be on my game plan or not. Like, and it wasn't like, I wasn't like trying to be disrespectful, but it was just like, I want to be honest about where I am.
Because at that stage, you were dating with a purpose.
Yeah.
I was dating with a purpose, but I was also dating just to not waste my time. Like, I'm in law school. I got enough stress. I got enough everything else going on. I'm away from my family. I'm just trying to navigate this whole time of my life. And I didn't want to do it with no bullshit. And I said, pretty much, if you're looking to date me, then we need to date with a purpose. Otherwise, we could just be cool and kick it, hang out, study together, go out to eat here and there.
Here and there.
Yeah, I mean, but whatever. But the thing is that but we wouldn't be dating with a purpose. So don't expect that much from me. I think that's the difference. And I also wouldn't expect that much from him. But when he came around, and at first I was like, no, it's all right. I was like, we're good. But he was persistent and he was, serious about it. So I was like, all right.
He was dating with a purpose.
I don't know. I think
She might have, I would say forced him, but yeah, she turned that light switch on. I mean, that's what happens with men.
Well, yeah, sometimes it's not really something you truly think about. Like, if I like you, I like you. I'm not really thinking about, are you going to be my wife at the end of this road? Or is this just going to be for now until it doesn't work out? I mean, sometimes not everybody thinks like that. But it is, honestly, I agree with you that it is important to think like that once you get, like, if you're in your mid-20s and you're dating, like, sometimes it's just annoying to be dating and not really have that in mind. But honestly, I feel like people can think about that, like, a little earlier. Because for me, like, coming out of college, like, having a plan for the rest of your life, because I feel like everybody has a plan. If you're in college, like, you know what you want to do with your life, and you're kind of like, even if you don't think about like your dating life, you're thinking about what your life is going to be like for, the time being, or, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And for someone to come into your life and in your space, I feel like as early as how young are people when they graduate college?
22,
21,
22, 23,
22.
right?
I feel like those are still like good young ages to even be thinking about that. But it's also, if you are wanting to focus more on your career or what you're going to be doing with your life financially, and you do want to date just to have fun, then that should be known too, especially if you're young, because some people might be looking for the seriousness and like trying to get to the end goal, marriage and whatever, and some people are just like, I don't got time for that. So if we just gonna kick it and just date for fun, we can just do that.
You're 25.
Yes, I am.
Are you dating with a purpose at this point in your life?
I'm not dating at all. So
When
I feel like when I do get to dating again, I definitely will be dating.
what's that purpose? Like, what's your end goal?
We gonna go together forever. We gonna go together forever. Like, I'm like, no play, not at all.
this is the thing. I think no one wants to look back, man or a woman, and be like, man, I just spent 5 years with this person for it to go absolutely nowhere. Did I learn some lessons? Did I, acquire some skills, X, Y, and Z? Yeah, you possibly benefited from it, but I think it's still hard to look back at that much time spent with one person and have nothing
To gain from it.
nothing, that you've gained from
I
it.
think about that all the time, honestly, because I was such a planner. I'm like legit a planner. I plan every single thing in my life. I always thought by now that I'd have kids, like at least even one. My mom had me when she was my age. Well, I would have been like going on one at my mom's age, like back in the day.
You think you're ready for kids right now, Amanda?
I've been ready for kids. I want kids so bad. I've just never been in the situation to have them. So I just know that like whatever situation I'm shut up. Mandy's talking right now. I just know that like whatever situation I'm in next, it has to be one that I'm like I'm not gonna play about because I can't wait that long. I'm already 25, like, and I'm already feeling like, damn, time is going. I don't know if it's just women that feel like that, but I don't know. I just feel like, damn.
Is it
I'm
because you're
like,
Caribbean, maybe?
I don't think so. I've never like tied Caribbean, like my Caribbean culture to any of it. I just feel like I'm in mid 20s now. Like just as fast as I got here,
Yeah.
is as fast as I'm gonna touch 30. And like
So-
I want to know that there's something.
Do you feel
going
at
on.
25 you're more attracted to starting a family than attracted to partying and hanging out? Like which one or what?
She wants both.
I love that you I love that you think that I just party so much and my life is just all
Glamorous.
fun and games. And yes, Amanda just goes out all the time. She gets herself made up and she's just outside all the time. I love that you think that. I love that's what it looks like. I love that that's what it looks like, you know? But no, I am very much attracted to starting a family. Like, if you ask any of my friends from since high school, I literally, they would tell me, Amanda, shut the fuck up. Because I'd be like, I wish I was pregnant. Like, I wish I had a kid. I was in high school, but I was just like, obviously I'm joking. But that's just how much I've always like adored like wanting a kid or being a mother. It's like a one goal in life that I just know that I wanna.
Not too, but it's, in general. So, well, first and foremost, a lot of men do. Right now, we have the whole narrative about like men traveling out the country to deal with women, right? And it's really because they're really kind of raised to be a wife. Like their end game is to be a wife. I feel like right now, most people are dating with experience or dating for experience, and they're not dating for a purpose. So this girl wants to experience a yacht. This guy wants to experience a bad chick. So nobody's actually being serious. And now the problem that's happening is that we're all suffering a repercussion of it. Because if I'm a guy and I decide that I want to be serious, I'm doing too much for a girl that's not. If this is a girl and she wants to be serious, she's doing too much because I could go ahead and mess with this bad chick that all I gotta do is take her to Roof Chris 2 or 3 times. So now what's happening is we're causing division because nobody's dating with purpose. I think you should never date without a purpose. In fact, whether you're 18 or 22 or 25, everything should be, with purpose. And here's a stat. It's funny because I was actually doing this research and conversation with my friend 2 days ago. About 1 out of 10 women don't know who the biological father is to their child. It's almost 10%.
What?
Yeah.
What?
This was a study. You guys can check it out. We did extensive research on this, and this was as of 2021.
What's the source?
New York Post actually posted it. So now you're seeing the repercussions of it. You're seeing the simple fact that there's kids that are growing up with broken homes because nobody's dating with the purpose. Most people are dating with an experience. You like her, okay, cool, she can make me feel this way, or okay, cool, I'm providing this experience for you. Now you get pregnant. Now we're bringing children into this world. Now we're separating. So when we date with a purpose from the get-go, it limits the ability of the traumatic karma that we're giving our children for our actions, the traumatic repercussions for our actions, I should say. And I don't like that. I've slept with many girls, right? But I never dated many girls. You can ask my mom, can count on one hand on how many women she's met. I don't introduce just anybody to my family. I don't introduce anybody to my mother unless I'm dating them. And if I'm dating them, I'm dating with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I get it. We should have fun, but then that fun is crippling in the end.
I think that people believe that life is serious, but tend to give off the idea that it's not serious.
That they don't care.
That they don't care, that, they want to give a very like cavalier, nonchalant type vibe about life,
Mhm.
and perhaps some people do that to avoid stress. I really don't know, but I do think that people also do it like to protect themselves. So it's like, oh yeah, somebody dogs you out or you get dumped or X, Y, and Z. Like, I ain't really
I didn't
fucking
give
do
a
no
fuck.
way.
Exactly. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. Like
I was messing with this one anyway.
Exactly. So it's like I think people use it as a defense mechanism, to what is it called? Like protect themselves.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called
Like keeping your guard.
catastrophizing.
Yeah, but keeping your
It's
guard
called
up.
catastrophizing. Basically, these people are dating with the ideology and prepping for the catastrophe of the relationship, so they respond out of defense. You know what I'm saying? So I won't take this that serious because I don't want to have a situation that end up like my last one. I don't want to be in a relationship for 5 years and it goes nowhere. Now understanding that if you are actually in a relationship for 5 years, that's a blessing for you to even be able to sustain and experience a 5 year relationship, especially right now. Right now, nobody like even myself, like my longest relationship is 3 years.
This relationship.
This will be my longest relationship come July.
Okay.
Right? So now it's how the hell am I supposed to manage a relationship? I got no experience with it. I'm so used to bailing out early because of the first or second real obstacle because we fought for a month and now I'm like, yo, nah, this is not gonna work out. I'm not about to waste my time. Now I bounce. Well, then what you think's gonna happen? There's obstacles in every single relationship. Whoever's telling these people, hey, there's no such thing. You don't have to deal with struggle love. Listen, struggle love and toxic is way different because every love has struggle. Every story has struggle. Every relationship has struggle. You're going to fall out of love. You're going to fall back into love if you can power through it. But nobody has the discipline to actually keep going forward. That's why everybody has short-term relationships, myself included.
But the issue with that is a lot of people don't know when to bow out because think about it. Think how many people you know in relationships that stayed and should not have stayed.
That's one of the tips for dating with purpose, actually. The last one says know when to walk away. Because some people don't, and some people,
right,
like Rico says, try to see it through.
Let me ask y'all a question, because this is the thing. I don't like people trying to judge or not. I don't like people trying to project their potential situation off of other people's trauma. Amanda, how many relationships did you stay in when you know you shouldn't have for a long period of time? And I'm gonna give it at least a year or 2 years you stayed where you knew you should have left. How long was your longest relationship?
3 years.
So your longest relationship was 3 years. You're 25. Okay. So how long? At what point did you know you were supposed to leave?
Been new.
So you got into it.
Yeah.
That was just foolish from the beginning. I would.
But she literally proves the point. Like some people don't know when to say no.
No. Yes, in general, some people don't know when to get in relationships. That was a different scope between knowing when to leave versus knowing who to date. If she's been new from the very beginning,
No, not been new from the beginning, but I was in a 3-year relationship. So somewhere in between those 3 years, I knew.
What point is what I'm asking you?
I'm gonna say maybe a year before I actually left.
Okay, cool. And that's not bad. Like for you to know for 12 months that you're not supposed to leave is not a long period of time. The people that are talking about knowing when to leave, we're talking about people who've been in relationships for 10 years and for 5 years they've been miserable.
No. I mean, think about it. That's 1/3 of the relationship.
That's usually what they say.
No.
No, but she's saying she's comparing my 3 years to what you just said.
It's
But
1/3. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it's 1/3 in total of percentage, but it's not. It's 1/3. It's 1 year in total of time. So you're there for 3 years.
It doesn't matter. But to compare those, you have to use percentages.
So let's use a percentage, right? Let's be realistic. If I know I'm supposed to leave, I'm not leaving day one. Nobody's leaving day one when they know they're supposed to leave. It's going to take time to leave. Long relationships have long breakups. I'm not going to argue this. This is something that we do know.
No. Sorry.
Well,
Not for Erin.
I'm not talking about Erin per se, and I'm not even talking about myself. I personally believe, and we don't really have a study on this, long-term relationships, and I'm going to give 5 years plus, right? Typically have more pros than they have cons. That's why they're in that relationship. That's why they're fighting for that relationship. Are there exceptions to the rule? Yes. I think the only time where people need to really know to walk away is when you're the only one fighting for that relationship. Now, if you're both fighting for this relationship, you are probably in a relationship you should be in. And realistically, you have to figure out a way to get over this hurdle. You have to figure out to get over this obstacle. But what happens is then we have other people who sit here and say, you don't need to deal with that. You deserve better. You're wasting your time. And you know what? You don't want to end up single at 35. But guess what? In all actuality, if you two really, really were dating with the purpose from the beginning, and I'm taking that, I'm saying that because some people do date out of codependency and they date out of comfort. But if you two are dating with the purpose, you're trying to start a family, or maybe you have a family, and you both are fighting for this. That is what a relationship dynamic is.
Both have to be fighting.
You both got to be fighting. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have the best relationship, but people need to understand you're not. There's always going to be a relationship on the outside that looks better than yours. And you compare your relationship to that relationship, and that relationship seems like it's the best. It seems like it's filled with this happiness. So now you start to think and project on yourself like, damn, my relationship is not that well. And it really is.
I don't think that's what it is.
I feel like that only works if you guys are dating with a purpose. Because two people fighting for a relationship does not mean that we're probably supposed to be together if we're not dating with a purpose. Because we could probably both just be fighting because we both love each other. But love isn't enough, like, to, stay somewhere. If you guys aren't talking about what the future holds for you guys are probably just in a dead end relationship. You guys are going to have the same problems. You guys are going to keep arguing about the same stuff. And you guys are going to have to keep going through this same fight to save this relationship. It's going to be a never ending cycle. So I feel like it only works if you guys are, it doesn't even have to be like dating with a purpose from the start, but as long as like somewhere along the way, you guys are talking about what the future holds for you guys.
So I want to make sure that we don't blur the lines with certain. There's people who fight for each other, and there's people who fight realistically for the relationship. Now, when you're fighting for each other, you have the same issues over and over again because you just want to be with that person. When you're fighting for your relationship, the issues that come into your relationship have to be weeded out because you're fighting for the relationship. The relationship does not call for such and such behavior, such and such actions. So you both are addressing it. You both are fighting fighting it, and you're moving and progressing forward. There's a lot of people who do love each other, and that's enough for them to stay together, but it's not enough for them to really progress. And I agree with that. But they're not dating with a purpose. They're dating after love. They're dating through love. You know what I'm saying? When you date with the purpose, it's like, all right, I'm dating this woman. We're going to have a family. I want a child. I want 1 or 2 children. Do you want 1 or 2 children? Yes. Cool. Now, we're going to get married at such and such age. It's when you date with a purpose, it has a plan. It has a structure.
Yeah.
You know where it's going.
Plan involved.
I'm not saying, hey, it's not wishful thinking. It's not, hey, yeah, I would like a family. Hey, I would like to be married. It is a structured plan, and it's detailed, and and you guys go about, you guys take on what's going to be going on within that relationship as they come. And you really work through it. You work through it to get to where your end goal is with that person. I don't even think people know what dating with a purpose is. Dating with a purpose and intent is not the same.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Dating with intent means I intend to have something good with you. I intend to have longevity with you. I intend to have, a family with you. A purpose is so much more profound. This has to happen. I'm going to make sure that this happens. You are the person that's perfect for this. When people say, I'll give you an analogy.
Look at Marie's face. She's like, what?
Oh, that's called hardballing right there.
No, it's like when people say, hey, pick a career. We had TK Kirkland, OG TK Kirkland.
OG.
Come on here.
He said, make sure you put that OG on.
Yeah, I put it, and I do it for him, right? He said he knows his purpose, and he's doing what his purpose is calling.
Right.
You don't steer away from it. When you have intentions versus purpose, which has more so devotion tied to it, that's why I say it's more profound. You figure things out, and you figure out how you're going to balance it and make it work. Your intentions can change. I intended this, but it's not working out. It's easier to walk away. It's so hard to fight against your purpose.
The only thing about that is that it involves something outside of you, right? You can have the strongest convictions and the strongest purpose. And when you're operating within yourself, there's a sense of choice and even maybe some control. When you have a strong sense of purpose, right, with the operation outside of you, you can have the strongest purpose, right, and vision. But if you involve another party in it, it becomes a lot more complex.
That's actually the point that I wanted to make. It's you may be with somebody and they may be great for the time being. You may think they're great for your future. But when I think about dating to establish a long-term lifetime relationship, one thing that is certain for me is I have to know that this is a person, good, bad, or indifferent, that I can spend it with them. Meaning, if shit is great, we're gonna be great. If it's bad, we still gonna be great. Like, there's not many people who who you can go through hard times with. And I think, and again, this is personally for me, when I sort of turn that light switch on in my mind about dating with a purpose, it really had to be that somebody that I enjoyed, somebody that I could be around, somebody just who didn't get on my fucking nerves sometimes. You know, sometimes you really like somebody, but they get on your nerves.
Oh, no. If your spouse don't get on your nerves, you're not in a real relationship. At least once a year or two.
But there are people who genuinely they get on your nerves.
You kind of realize that you really don't like this
You don't like them.
Exactly.
Oh no, not like that.
No, that's what I'm talking about. What y'all just said. It's like you if they get on your nerves, you not gonna cook them dinner, or you're not gonna come pick them up because they ran out of gas. Like that level of get on.
You want to
your
know what's
nerves.
so amazing, Erin, that you say that? Because one of the key things, one of the primary things you should ask yourself is, are our problems based on what we're going through or who we are?
Yeah.
So if you ask that in your partnership, it will give you an idea of, is this the person that I want to be with?
Exactly. If it's a core issue like right here and it's just who you are and it just don't jive with me, then it's not gonna work regardless of how much I love you, regardless of how much I can put up with you, you know, regardless of how much I fight for the relationship. I really don't give a fuck about nobody fighting for a relationship. What I care about is somebody willing to do the work to make things better. Meaning you have to look at yourself and see where you're messed up. You got to look at yourself to see where you can improve so that you can take those improvements into the relationship. Because otherwise, what are you doing? It makes no sense. You're saying I'm fighting for the relationship. Who are you fighting? What are you fighting? You know, this is all about improvement and doing better so that you can be better and have a better relationship. But the things that people use this very often, and maybe somebody in the room can tell me what they mean, but who are they fighting? The other bitch? Like, I don't know. Like, who are they fighting? I don't understand.
No, it could be. So there are times. So,
Remember R. Kelly? For my life.
nah, so I mean, I agree. I understand where you're coming from. I mean, in my perspective, I don't need you to fight. I don't need you to demonstrate effort. Effort is not good enough for me at this point in my life. I need you to demonstrate solutions. Yeah. So I agree with that in that sense, and just to maybe add some type of, I guess, clarity to the word fighting for people who do use that phrase. I'm fighting for this relationship. There's been points and times in my life and in relationships where I was the only one fighting, in the sense where I know the other person is tapping out right now, but I'm picking up the burden and the weight, and I'm gonna carry it on my back until I could get this person tapped back in. That's what comes to my mind in fighting. And there's been times where I tapped out in a relationship, like, yo, I don't gotta deal with this. Yo, I'm tired of this, right? And then their efforts and actions helps pick me back up to speed. And then, we get back on the high horse and we go ahead and we rock off. Now, I do believe that life situations sometimes get very, very hard, especially for people who are struggling financially. It's really hard to see the difference between your situation and the person. Usually they kind of go hand in hand. Because a lot of times you're in the situation because of that person. You know what I'm saying? You was good.
Even if it's the situation, the person is not handling it
Yeah.
and making it worse.
I'm sorry, Rico, that does a lot in a relationship. One thing I noticed observing people's relationships when I was a kid, how things get mostly by the men. Like when something comes about, like let's say there's a leak in the ceiling or the light bill gets cut off, like anything that happens, I always observe how it's handled by the person determines how much respect the relationship gets, how much the person stays with you.
We go through situations, and I have a collective group of male friends who are just so happen to be what idealistically a man is supposed to do in the household, right? In terms of covering the bills, da 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 da, all these gender roles. So I do believe that one thing that we all have in common with our woman is that when situations arise, our woman never just sit back. We might push them back, say, "Hey, I got this, chill out," but they never just sit back. And I think that is a form of appreciation from a man who's doing a lot.
Yeah,
I need to know that you're willing to do some type of the work and pick up some type of the load rather than just say, "Okay, here you go."
I don't know what to do.
Or I don't care, just get it done. Because a lot of men feel sometimes they become slaves to their relationship or slaves in the relationship.
What does that? Damn, that's two things, right?
Yeah, well, slaves
to the relationship and slaves in
a relationship. Yeah. So, realistically, when they're the only ones that are doing the burden of the work, and I'm not talking about just finances. I'm talking about in everything. Like I'll be transparent. I had a fight with my girl and we didn't talk to each other for nearly a week in the same house.
How?
Because what happened was I was on a tour. I came off of a tour, and that Sunday I was exhausted. I filmed Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday I took a chill day, but I still didn't take a chill day because I'm present in my house. I'm a great father, so I play with both kids all damn day. And I felt like I should do that because she was watching the kids while I was filming. This is your break. I got this. So then when Monday comes around, she goes to work. They so happen to have off from school, right? So I'm still with them, even though my mom did take them for a couple hours, right? So I'm still with them. She comes home from work. I'm like, don't worry about it. She goes to bed at 8 o'clock. I'm with the kids from there till they're put them to sleep around 9, 10. So when Tuesday come around, now I'm exhausted. Because at that point in time, right, I'm not going to lie, I was tapping out. Like I was all I could do, right? Like I had no more energy. I was exhausted. And I'm like, yo, I just need to rest. I did most of the work. She's already tired. Once you wash her hair, it's going to take you 10 minutes. She's going to fall asleep with me, right? My daughter goes to sleep in my arms most nights. So can you just pick up this one piece that I'm asking you, right?
Did you say it like that, Rico?
I did say initially yes.
Oh, okay. I was
just
wondering.
Initially yes, and then
I know exactly how
what ended up happening was it still wasn't resonating, and when it still wasn't resonating, that's when I was like, yo, the simple fact that for me, this is what I'm saying, I felt like a slave in my relationship because, like I said, there's a lot of guys who I know or don't know but know of who are not doing both sides. They're not being the dad and they're not being the provider. I'm doing both. Right? And I'm taking off a lot of burden for you. I'm considering that you were with the kids while I was at work. So now I'm taking the burden of the kids so then you can kind of relax and rest before you go back to work. Right? This is my fine line of balance. And when I realized it wasn't being able to be processed, that's when I realized that I was the only one that was kind of all in. So when I felt like that, I immediately I rejected it. I refused to digest it in a healthy manner because I was like, okay, you don't understand after I said this the nice way? Fuck it. I has to start bugging.
Spazzed out.
Yeah, I spazzed out. And the way I spazzed out then became a situation. It's like, you don't got to talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like...
should have just took a nap.
But she's a Gemini. Them signs don't ever... Right. So what ended up happening was... So,
and I knew she was gonna be on here too. I'm like, you talk all this shit. I know she's still on here.
But she knows though, because we tell our sides. But more of the story is, when a guy when a guy feels like he's overexerting and overexuding and he's doing everything he can and he just wants you, especially when majority of the situations come up and he's like, yo, chill. When this one situation is like, yo, I'm giving you carry the bread in the house. And you're like, why don't you carry the bread? It's like, come on, bro. This is the lightest of all the bags.
Wait. Who question?
Yes.
Who went to go get the groceries?
I got the groceries.
You went in like
You
you
did
drove and went
you
and
did
got
the
them?
shopping?
I drove. No, we did the shopping together. But I drove.
Okay.
We did the shopping together. I packed it up. I brought them all in the house. And I'm like, all right, cool. Just bring and you're like, go back downstairs and get the bread. It's like, wait, time out. Hold on. So
To me, it kind of seems like you guys have a little bit of a power construct
Mm.
in your house. It's just like, okay, well, who's gonna do this? Because I do this, so I think you should do this. Kind of situation going on. Because why are we arguing about who's gonna get the bread?
no, it's not about
If you're closer to where the bread is,
No, we're
just go
both
get the bread.
Nah, it's not even about that. Nah, it don't work that way. Like I don't work
It
that
don't
way.
work that
It don't
way.
work that way. But my thing is this, and I say this all the time because I realize that there's not a lot of good men out there. Okay, it took me a long time to realize that there's not a. When I say good men, I mean men that's capable of doing everything in terms of in and outside of the house. A lot of men can only fathom or can only possess the capacity for one job. So if you have a man, women, ladies, if you have a man who can do both, you owe him a little bit more grace than you do the one that's only one-sided.
All right,
You
so I
should
want to.
give,
That's
you
all I'm
should
saying.
give him a little
right,
bit
so
more
guys,
grace.
I
Like
gotta
you
say-
owe
That's
him.
it. That's all I'm saying.
Erin,
Meanwhile, a woman's doing 7 jobs at the same time. Lord, what grace is she having?
Well, I mean, no, I mean,
she gets grace.
I think that
Okay.
if Rico's trying to say that, like, just pay attention. Like,
I do
we
agree.
should give men a little bit more grace. Not that we owe them a little bit. I feel like
no.
the owing.
Why is it more grace?
She said, "Give him grace to just
I
as
said,
much."
no,
as
I'm
they give
just trying to rephrase what Rico said without the owing part because
us. Oh yeah.
I didn't like that he said that we
Yeah,
owe
but, like,
men more grace.
yo, all right, we're not gonna get into semantics on
not gonna get into
etymology.
Yeah, we're
that.
not.
So
I
guys-
just that's why I
Semantics
simply
are important.
rephrased.
Words are important. They all have meanings.
No, exactly. I said it right.
It's like, let's get into
She
it.
just didn't like it, but I said it right.
When you dating with a purpose, should you incorporate that you're possibly dating the person that's meant to be the most important person in your life?
I'm
I
a
get
little
it.
confused with having to connect my purpose because if I'm dating with a purpose and I know that you are somebody I want to continue life with, yes, I'm going to make sure that you're the most important person in my life. And even if we're not there yet, I feel like that's how I set my mind up so that I know this is like I'm all in. You know, this is somebody I'm going to want to have kids with. This is somebody I'm going to want to spend my life with. This is someone who I'm going to have to put before everyone anyway. Me, I know that how I've ran my relationships in the past is I go fully off love. Like if I love you and I have that feeling for you, like I tell people like I know when I'm like in love with somebody, when I get that pit feeling like in my heart, drop down to my stomach kind of feeling. And I'm just like, yeah, I gotta pursue that. Like I gotta like
Some
I
good
know
weed will do that too.
And Casamigos.
I'll be like, I know I want that person and I know I want to try things out with that person, but sometimes it's not enough. And that's when dating with a purpose comes into it. But I feel like also relying on love also plays a part as well, because I think the last thing of what you said was if you don't rely with the purpose, or I don't know, what exactly, how did you phrase it?
Because we're dating with a purpose, so we're on a road to something. So the road we're on a road for you to be the most important person in my life.
That's what I'm thinking
like the
is like
Titanic.
scary about it.
Different.
And this is what I'm trying to get into. Why I feel like love has to play a part in it, because it's just like it's very good when two people go well together and we share the same purpose and we make a good business team or whatever. But it's just like it's just me and you. Are you saving me from the sinking boat? Like, sure, but is there love there? And I feel like love has to be there
It could
to.
only be love.
I don't think so. I don't think it's love or nothing else. I feel like it has to be some love, some purpose.
Yes, a mix.
Why?
Yeah.
That's,
Well, yeah, but the love definitely first.
Look, this is my thing. I
Okay.
think, and I've said this a million times. Like, love is important, but so are so many other things
Yeah,
in a
I
relationship.
agree with that. Love is important, but it's not enough.
Yeah, it's not. Just like finances alone is not enough.
It's not.
Just
yeah.
like somebody having domestic capabilities is not enough. Like it's all one. Like it's a pie chart. You know what I mean? Like each slice of pie has its own based on what your desires and needs and wants are, has its own like percentage assigned to it, you know. And some people might need more love. You know, somebody like me, I need somebody who is going to be my friend, because when things are bad, the love isn't going to help me. The love isn't going to help Erin Campbell. Can I sit here and crack a joke with you? Can we drink a beer? Can we go eat some crawfish? You know, can we go see a comedy show? Like real friendship. Because think how many times you've gotten into it with your friends. They're still your friends.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean?
I'd be losing.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. The friends that
that's the problem.
that you've gotten into it with,
It's
and they're
you.
still your friends.
I mean,
You know,
I
like
ain't say no.
these are the people that you choose to be your family.
Right.
Like your friends, your good friends, are your family that you actually get the opportunity and
The option
privilege
to
to
choose.
select.
Correct.
You get to pick them, you know, and that's the same thing when it comes down to picking a spouse. You have to pick somebody who feels like that biggest void. And for me, I'm gonna need a friend. And I told y'all, my end game when I get married, I am married, but like my end game is being married. I don't want to be 76 years old with no companion. I want somebody I can sit up and run a joke with, talk about our social security checks, go log online and look
If
at my
you weren't-
IRA.
Like, would you
Like-
still like this person if you weren't dating him in a relationship? Is this
Exactly.
someone that you could like? Even if I weren't with you in a relationship, would I like you enough to
Exactly.
hang out with you?
That's exactly.
And if you
it.
can't say yes, then you might have
you
to
gotta
do some kind of self-reflection. Like, I like you
Yep.
as a person, because the sex isn't going to be enough at one point. Love isn't going to be enough. But when I tell you, when you like someone, you're willing to go the extra mile for that person.
You're willing
'cause
to fight.
You really are.
That's the fight.
You know what? But you know,
That's where the fight comes in.
you know,
I
I
like
think,
you.
something that I've taken away from this conversation, and also looked at my own life and reflected. Erin, you're one of them too. Erin is a person who, all the women that I've ever encountered, I would say 95 of them didn't have a purpose. And even if they might have a desire, they didn't know their purpose. So they weren't able to iterate it. The reason why I'm in a relationship right now is because she came to me with her purpose. I'm not doing this just to do this. I like you. I want to be with you. What are your intentions on your life? What's your plan? Okay, this is my plan. All right. So Erin kind of took the same approach, and she's married. Right. I think, and there's many reasons why this is happening, but there's a lot of men who have plans, but they don't know who they're going to share it with. And there's a lot of women that don't take the initiative because of X, Y, and Z. Maybe they don't care to be with him. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't know how to say it to him. Maybe they don't know how to be assertive on their own value and say, hey, listen, I'm not having sex with you just to have sex with you. I don't care. You can take me to 10,000 dates. I don't care if you take me on 500 yachts. This is my plan. And I think that allows a man to tap into a longevity process with that woman rather than just a, instant gratification with her.
First one is let go of your past relationship experiences. I'm just gonna go straight through down, okay? Build yourself back up. Trust yourself. Know yourself. Know who you want. Use online dating to your advantage. That one's interesting. Meet lots of people. Talk about your values and see if they're aligned. Don't compromise on the big things. That's absolutely correct. I love that. But do be willing to compromise on the smaller things. Ask questions to know more about their relationship style. This is their relationship style. Work on your communication skills. Know what your boundaries are and maintain them. Know when to walk away. We spoke about that one. So those are the 14 tips, dating with a purpose.
Love it.
Really? Thank you.
Yo, she did that shit.
She's such a manipulator. Like,
Am I?
No, I've never heard that before.
Right. Oh, gosh.
Yo, did you see how she did that?
I think one of the most important ones, and we talked about this earlier. One of the most important ones is number 14. Well, 4 obviously. Know yourself.
Yeah.
That was number
But
4.
14 is really knowing when to walk away, because a lot of times we're so blinded by wanting something and like not failing at something. Just because you break up doesn't necessarily mean you failed at it. It may be like what they say on Martin, like the I'm down bad so I can come up or something like that. I can't remember. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I feel like knowing when to
staying
walk
down
away.
to the come up, or saying you was down for.
It was something about like it's something bad that's essentially setting you up for something good.
later
A
in the
setback could be
Yeah,
a get back.
No, a setback.
A setback could be a come up.
Yeah, it's a setback so that you can come up.
Mhm.
Because the previous relationship may not have worked out, but it's making space and opportunity for something that you actually need versus like some BS that you were just like desirous of,
Mhm.
and that wasn't necessarily good for you. And
Or towards your goals.
exactly, you think it's towards your goals, but it's not. Like it's not serving that goal.
And once you realize that a relationship is not serving you,
Exactly,
you need to know
You
when to
gotta go.
walk away.
you got to tap out.
I think that one was really important because it's just like if you are going to now be or have always been dating with a purpose, you got to know when this relationship doesn't serve you so you can take the time to heal, know yourself again so you can get back out there so that you can
Yeah.
get back on the path that you need to be to, have somebody to flourish with.
And you're taking a lot of chances. Like if you're in a relationship that's not going nowhere, like you taking chances, like your savings, because you'll be saving with somebody that's responsible. If you're young, you could get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You could
That's
get
another
yourself
thing.
in the wrong environments. Like if it's not going nowhere,
Mm.
you know when it's going and when it's not. It's not.
Mhm.
Do you think that some people, or you think most people do know when it's not going somewhere?
Everybody know when the
Yeah, but
relationship
they
ain't
still
going
stay.
nowhere.
I feel
But-
like once you love somebody so much, and that's why I hated that
It
love
blinds you.
took over so much of my relationships because I would always be so scared to leave. I didn't want to hurt nobody. I didn't want to, I knew it would be hard to like break up. Like I think Rico said, or one of y'all said, I don't remember. Like the longer that you're in a relationship is the
The longer to break up.
longer to break up. And I mean it's low key true because it's like if you've been with somebody for so long, like breaking it off with them because you know that you don't see a future with them or you know that that person doesn't fit in your purpose anymore, it's hard.
Well, I mean, and I'll keep it short. One of the biggest people have, one of the biggest problems people have in life, in relationships, in work, and everything is starting over. So once
Yeah.
you get into a relationship for such a long period of time, you don't want to have to start over.
Mm.
Now, I don't align with the whole. I feel like those are like solutions. I believe in preventing. I don't want to have to learn that this was the wrong person. That's not how I work in my life. I try to prevent. So I think that number 7 and number 5 is a combination of the two most important things outside of knowing yourself, which is know who you want and meet lots of people. When you meet lots of people, it'll actually show you what you really want. When you can only pick from your surroundings, you only know what you know. And none of those options can be serving for you or fulfilling for you. So you need to get out there. I know you don't want to be over here and at the club, but maybe you need to experience a club. I know you don't want to be at a cigar lounge, but maybe you need to experience a cigar lounge. You need to meet different types of people. You need to meet lots of people. That's going to really show you what you truly want. And then with that being said, you don't have to worry about picking the wrong person. More likely than not, you really know what's out there instead of going off of other people's word who had terrible, terrible outcomes on their own life situations. You can really base it for your own experiences.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, that's a very courageous thing for someone to be able to do. Which I
out
agree.
there.
Change your environment, go in a different environment.
I
You
was
do
just
you-
know,
about to say
It's normal.
I personally don't like to meet new people. Like I don't
because you did that whole phase.
I
you gotta
don't
think,
Right.
Alan.
like to go into different environments. Like, what if I don't want someone that smokes cigars? I'm not going to a cigar lounge
but-
to like.
Well,
smoke
then
people
you.
That's
out.
not the
You
point.
don't
You have
I
to
mean, I
go to
thought
a
that was a
cigar
point.
lounge.
That's-
Not literal.
Yeah, what he's saying is that like
just
if you
get
open
out
up,
there.
Yeah.
you open up your like it's we said this, it's a numbers game. So if you have
Mhm.
a bigger pool of numbers, your odds are going to be better.
Facts.
So if you meet people at the cigar lounge, at the basketball game, at the gym, at the grocery store, like the more places you are, the more likely the higher the likelihood of you meeting somebody.
Probability is
Yep.
higher than somebody
are the
just busting
passport
into
boys?
your living room.
What is the
No, they're out.
passport boys? Are people going to meet new people
Well,
Yeah.
I just
and experience
I-
new people?
Y'all just bring
Amanda, no
the
one is
people
going
here
to.
that I told y'all to bring. Okay, so that'll be my
Amanda said,
chance.
I'm not doing all that work.
Amanda, no one's gonna walk into your living room and,
And
say,
just sit.
"Hey, I've been looking for you my whole
honestly,
life."
they'll
that's
walk
when
into
it
your
works the
DMs.
best. When I'm not looking for anything, things always walk right in front of me.
We're not saying go look. We're saying go
Let's
outside
go and
your
experience.
circumference.
Yeah.
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 By
I
the way,
think it-
Erin, can I just say, it's a minor setback for a major comeback.
Thank you. Who said that?
That is Kiki.
50 Cent?
You love me.
Do you
3.
love
Thank
me
you,
too?
Kiki.
Ah,
She used to watch
Never wanna
Martin.
leave for beside me,
She def
'cause I want you.
what? Oh, somebody else said
I
it.
need you. I mean, I feel like
Are you trying to date with a purpose or you trying to date? What
You
are we
just-
doing?
I feel
You're
like
trying
a
to glue
lot
yourself to
of
somebody.
Get your weight up.
a lot of the
Stay
14.
hot.
I feel like we all agreed
Get snipped.
connected back with knowing yourself.
Yeah.
So if you got out of a situation or you realize that dating with a purpose is now your goal moving forward, take some time and make sure that you know yourself and are knowing yourself before you try to date someone.
What do you
to-
mean know yourself? Like, I know my name.
You know your name, but do you know what you want? Do you know who you want? Do you know the qualities that you're looking for? Have you healed from any past trauma?
I
Are
want
you
somebody,
ready to go and like really seriously date again?
I want somebody to make me happy. That's all I know. What
No
else
one
do I
can
need
make
to
you
know?
happy.
Well, then
Mm.
spend a lot of time with your siblings. They're a lot of fun.
Okay.
They really are though.
Knowing yourself, I'm sure I feel like I said, a lot of the 14 kind of went back to knowing yourself.
Amanda, do you know yourself?
I think I do know myself.
Well, who are you? And don't tell me your name.
Right.
I mean, in how many words do we want to know who I am? I'm a baker.
I knew that was gonna be the first thing
That's
you
not who
said.
you are. That's your occupation.
That is
Who are
my
you?
occupation, but that is also a part of who I am. I am an
That's
I am an entrepreneur. I'm a hard worker. I work from home. That's a part of my identity because I don't get out there much. I'm at home. I'm very spontaneous. I'm very enthusiastic to start new things and to not meet new people. I don't like to meet new people because I almost said it, but I was like, let me not lie. And I think I make decisions with my heart more than I do my head. I'm very poetic that way. But yeah, what else should I say?
I don't hear. I don't
What character?
Alright,
What
so we gotta-
characteristics?
think you know who you are yet. Yeah, clearly.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's a struggle, but it's just like if you're caught off guard with, it's just like, okay, well, what can I say about myself that people would really need to know that is important about me?
Was who you are. I mean, like I got that.
Rico, who are you?
But who I am at this moment, this particular moment, because I've definitely changed. I am I am a soul who lives for the truth and wants and desires to help bring the truth to the surface of this earth. I am a soul who loves love. I am a soul who wants honest love, not materialistic love. And I am a soul who cares. I'm really a humanitarian at heart in every aspect. Um, and I could give you my identity. I work at podcasts and I could do all those other things, but that's not who I am. Who I am is I'm a loving person, a caring person who values nothing but the truth and will stand on the truth even at the expense of my own image. That's who I am. You know what I'm saying? That's how I represent my life. That's how I've always been. And there's more things. There was more pieces to me of who I was that fell off. I used to be a hurt individual who was, or a hurt spirit, I should say, bigger than just this, body, and who used to hurt people, in a physical manner. And I've grown from that, So who I was and who I am is a little bit different, but the core values of who I am is what I just listed.
Okay.
Well, Erin Campbell.
Don't ask me. No.
Yeah, Aaron's like, I don't want no
You,
parts of
Erin
this.
Campbell.
Aaron's like, don't put me in y'all mix.
All right, guys.
But I don't want to get all.
for you to find out.
Nice. I should have.
But I think that, but that's a question. That's a question that
Google me.
we need to ask.
She
'cause-
said, "Google me, bitch."
But that's a question that we need to ask, and that's the type of things that we have to say. Can you discover new things about who you are? Yes, but at the same time, we keep on saying know who you are. Nobody really knows who they are. How are you dating with a purpose? You don't really know who you really are. You only know what the name that they gave you when you were born. You only know the occupation that you chose, and you only know the things that they tell you to believe.
Good point.
See, the reason why I always argue with people when they ask about who they are is that a lot of people don't understand certain things. Like, for example, if I'm a codependent and I don't know I'm codependent, and I tell you I know who I am, but I don't even know I'm a codependent. If I have high anxiety, I don't know I have high anxiety, but I'm having these panic attacks. I have anxious problems. I don't know this, right? If I'm a narcissist and I don't know I'm a narcissist, and I don't, so all these things, I'm using, I guess, clinical things that's been,
I mean, I feel like these people sometimes are deviants. Like,
no,
not in the most negative way, because like on the scale on normal, when you're talking about a normal scale, right? Like the baseline, I don't like when we use the exception for the rule.
no, what I'm saying is like everybody got some shit, right? So if I have abandonment issues and I'm dating and I don't know I have abandonment
But
issues,
that's not who you are.
no, but it's a very big part of you, because what if you have abandonment issues? What if you got separated? We were talking about, what if you got separation anxiety? You don't know that. You understand what I'm saying?
Can I actually
It's
wrote a note
clouding
for
who you
this.
are, to be
It's
honest.
very clouding, because somebody could be like, oh, I'm going to go on a road trip.
Yep.
You got separation anxiety. Now you're going crazy. You've never actually known
That's who you are.
what's clouding who you are.
Yes, but I think when someone says, "Who are you?" not like parts of, like, you could say, "Oh,"
I'm Rick James.
like if you're saying like, "Oh, I have abandonment issues," right? And when someone leaves, there's a anxiety response, and I start to think about, "Oh my God, are they leaving me?" That's not who I am.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Because I know Erin has something to say. What I'm saying is that there's things that you have to know about yourself to know yourself. Like, if you don't know you have abandonment issues, how you don't really know yourself. See, if I have abandonment, let's say me. Let's say if I have abandonment issues, codependency issues, narcissist issues.
got a
Not me.
whole
I'm not saying that.
I'm
No,
just
it's not
I'm just
talking
giving you
about
my opinion. Let's
You
say I
need
have these
therapy.
three, right? And then let's say I have
Shock.
separation anxiety. Let's say I have these four things, but I'm so conscious that I have them. I'm probably a healthier person than most people because I actually know I have them. I manage them. I deal with them. I cope with them. So when I'm dealing with people, I know how to process
But if
them.
you know that, you also know that's not who you are.
Well, okay, so I
you
think
know
you
those
guys,
are symptoms of an issue that you're coping
Oh
with.
yeah, like you got a
so
cold.
But yeah,
basically-
like you may have a disease, right? But that's not who I am. I may have depression
Well, a lot of
disorder,
people
but
dating
that's
with
not who I
diseases.
am.
Yeah.
No, but like
Well,
I think people need to
that's the thing.
differentiate when there is an issue or disease or a mental health issue. That doesn't mean that's who you are. That is
Well,
something
a
that
lot of
you're
people got some
coping
colds.
with
Well,
in this life.
Let's
Got-
put it. I want to just button up what you're both saying. There's a difference between knowing who you are and knowing what you possess, whether it be mental health issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I do see how they can correlate because a lot of people fall into the identity of what they possess. not only on the mental health side, even on the materialistic side. They think that they identify as themselves as poor because they don't have all the expensive things. Some people think they identify as rich because they have all the expensive things, but are morally poor. So, I understand where it can get confused of people, mixing what they possess versus with what they are. But to agree with Marie, you do have to know what you are, and to agree with you, you do have to know what you possess and get past that, so then you can actually find out and do the digging to figure out who you really are.
And what you're making your narrative. Because what happens is a lot of people make things that they are struggling with, things that they are coping with, they make it their narrative. You're struggling with anxiety, right? But you don't have to be like, I'm just an anxious person, right? No, you're struggling with it. Yeah. There is a life that exists where you can overcome that. Now, you might have to do a lot of work. There might be a lot of things that you have to do to get to the other side, but that's not who you are. That is just a part of a story. And there's a lot of parallels that exist, right? That there's a life where you don't struggle with that. So don't make it your narrative.
I agree. And that's what we'll tell the audience. But like, let's say, for example, if you date someone with low self-esteem, right? A person with low self-esteem will always overcompensate, right? So they tend to overcompensate a lot. So imagine you've been dating unsuccessfully for 15 years. And now you're watching this episode of 8 at the Table. And we're explaining to you that if you have low self-esteem, learn not to overcompensate. And if you can learn that about yourself by learning who you are, you might end up in the relationship for the rest of your life after that. That's all I'm trying to say in this.
Be careful of the stories you tell yourself.
Yeah. So this is what I was going to say earlier. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily like to hear criticism from someone that they are in or have previously been in a relationship with. But I think we all need to come to terms with, if we're hearing similar complaints from previous relationships or from friends, our parents, whomever, people who have close relationships with us, at some point you have to let the ego go. Mm-hmm. And you have to consider that there's generally gonna be a fire where there's some smoke. So if someone is always saying, man, you so selfish, you don't never think about nobody, X, Y, and Z, but in your mind, you think, man, I share my Reese's peanut butter cup with you or whatever. I don't know, just you share, but everybody can't be lying to you about who you are or the things that you do. So I think it's important to learn how to take some of these things that are consistently repeated to us about our behavior and address it. It's not easy to deal with somebody saying you're selfish. Because, honestly, I heard that for a very long time, but it took me a while to actually accept it and then work on it, And now, I know that I am selfish, but I am active in my actions so that I don't show selfish behavior to my husband, but I'm sure a bunch of people told me, and I think that's just one thing that I want people to kind of, it's not always somebody hating on you. It's not always somebody being mad at you. It's not always them just mad because you broke up with them.
Or is. Or not.
Right. It's legitimately, you probably really have a problem that needs some work. So let's just not always take it as a bad thing when somebody is critiquing you. I just want to end on that.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in with us today on this topic about
dating with a purpose.
Dating with a purpose. So please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're all there. We appreciate the love, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Peace.